Today to talk about The Legend of Ochi. I have with me writer-director Isaiah Saxon and one of our stars, Emily Watson. Thank you both for talking with me today.
Thanks for
Pleasure.
having
It's a
us.
pleasure.
Now, you've made a really beautiful film here, from the look of the locations to the Ochi themselves. Isaiah, tell me a little bit about your original vision for the film and how you wanted to go about bringing it to life. What did you know you wanted to bring in from the beginning, and what did you sort of find along the way?
Yeah, I initially just knew I wanted to tell a story about a kid and an animal trying to communicate with each other. And as I was searching for where to set that, I became obsessed with the Carpathian Mountains of Romania and Western Ukraine. My dad's family's from Ukraine, and it was always a object of fascination. And as I started researching Transylvania and the lore and the primeval forests and the kind of almost intact medieval culture in terms of technologically, there's horse-drawn carriages still everywhere. There's people scything their fields. So when I landed on Carpathia, everything else started to fill in. You know, who would the people be here? What would this kind of sad dad training local kids be like? And I took inspiration from the Cossacks who were having child military training camps in eastern Ukraine, and everything, was just trying to find what rhymed with that kernel from the real world. And then because I was afraid to really set it in Romania, I just transposed it to a fantasy island, so that I could be freer to not feel like I was, pretending to be some authority on Romanian culture. So, yeah.
And how did you land on the design and the look for the Ochi themselves?
Yeah, the goal was always that a kid or even an adult might be able to just wonder, is this a real animal that I haven't just seen the BBC Nature special on yet? Like, did I, and part of the goal of the setting too is like, is that a real place? I didn't know there was an island in the Black Sea, but that makes sense. Yeah, that I wouldn't know yet, and now I'm learning about it. So I wanted it to be believable, and so I was drawing from nature, not from other movie creatures. I was looking at the Chinese snub-nosed golden monkey and various tarsiers and lemurs, and trying to make any characteristic of the Ochi rhyme with like a real zoological phenomenon. From the way they vocalize to the way their hearing works, the way their diet works, their social groupings work, and none of that is even explained in the film, but you have to figure it all out to make the film feel like, something real.
Yeah, I love this sort of naturalist angle going on here, and the fact that they did feel very real. And then we have Dasha, who is actually out there researching these creatures and has this connection to them. I think she was described as Jane Goodall meets Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I think is very fun. Emily, how do you see Dasha, and what drew you to this role?
I love that aspect of her, that she's a true scientist. She's a truly in pursuit of something, and she's kind of got it all wrong.
Not all wrong.
Not all wrong, but there's an aspect of it that is,
She's got it more right than anyone else.
yes, yes.
But there's a missing piece.
There's a missing piece. But when I first read the script and I got to the character is introduced by describing the dash in her car, which is covered in litter and sweet papers, and there's a dead bird, and you see this wooden hand on the steering wheel and smoking a cigarette, and she's listening to Italian rock. And I thought, well, I'm in. I don't know where this is going, but I am so in. It's just, that's what's great about these people, is they're just properly messed up and very dysfunctional. And at the center of it, though, is their child, who is incredibly brave and pure of heart somehow, in a way that we all want to be.
Definitely. All right, last one for you both. This is a great family fantasy adventure. If you were going to assign a double feature, pick another movie to pair with The Legend of Ochi, which one would you pick?
Oh, that's wild.
That's really hard.
Um, Double feature. It's got to be short. Can't be a long movie. Um, I think I might go with Black Stallion.
Hmm.
Good choice. Good choice.
Oh. What about the Railway Children?
All right.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you both so much for talking with me today. Looking forward to those double features.